Okay, so let's talk about a question that sits at the very heart of a huge legal firestorm in Jamaica. When does defending your own life cross the line and become a felony? This is exactly what happened when a carnival party turned into a crime scene, putting popular podcaster Jai Phrase right at the center of it all. We're going to break it down.
So I want you to just picture this for a second. It's Sunday night in Kingston, you're at a massive after-carnival party called Big Wall. The music's blasting, the vibe's electric, thousands of people are just having a good time. And then out of nowhere, gunshots. The party just explodes into pure chaos.
And right in the middle of this whole mess were two pretty well-known guys, podcaster Jahadi Richards, who everybody knows as J.D. Frice, and music producer Javelle Morrison, who goes by Javi Ambassador. An argument between them is what apparently lit the fuse on this whole thing.
And you know what's really wild is how fast it all went down. Just look at this. Phrase gets there at 9:30 p.m. We're talking moments later, he comes out of a restroom and a confrontation kicks off, and then boom, gunfire. 3 people get shot, including Phrase himself. In a matter of minutes, this party became a major crime scene. The speed of it is just staggering.
Now this is where the story gets really, really messy. Because when the police started trying to figure out what happened, they were immediately hit with 2 totally different versions of the exact same event.
This right here, this is the huge problem for investigators. On one hand, you've got Jay Phrase saying he was ambushed, attacked by a whole group of guys, he disarmed one of them and only fired back to literally save his own life. But then, on the other hand, you have Javi Ambassador, who is a licensed firearm holder, and his lawyers are saying, nope, he was the one acting in self-defense. So who do you believe? Who's the victim and who's the aggressor?
With both men now in police custody, the battle shifted from the party to the courthouse. But this wasn't just any legal proceeding. This was a race against a ticking clock. There was a hard deadline that put a ton of pressure on the police to make a decision, and make it fast. So, to really force the police's hand, the lawyers for both men filed for something called Habeas Corpus. Now, this is a really powerful legal move. It's a fundamental right that basically says the government can't just lock you up and throw away the key. It's the lawyers telling the court, listen, you either charge our clients with a crime right now or you have to let them go.
And the judge totally agreed. She put her foot down and gave the police a non-negotiable deadline, 6 p.m. on Friday. This wasn't some friendly suggestion. This was a court order. The clock was officially ticking for everyone involved.
As word got out, this whole case just blew up into this massive public debate. And it was about way more than just these 2 guys. It's like it touched a really raw nerve in Jamaican society, you know? It brought up all these big questions about crime, about fear, and what you're allowed to do to protect yourself when you think your life is on the line.
Jai Phrase's lawyer, Israel Buchanan, framed it like this, and it's a really powerful argument. He's basically saying that by charging his client, the authorities are sending a terrifying message to the public. And that message is, when you're attacked, you just have to take it. You have to be a victim, because the second you fight back, you're the one who becomes the criminal. And that question right there gets us to the absolute core of this whole thing. Let's say you believe Phrase was attacked. He was the victim. The police still have to deal with another, separate fact. He does not have a license for a firearm. So, in the eyes of the law, the instant he allegedly picked up that gun and fired it, did he cross a line from being the victim to being a perpetrator?
I mean, that's the impossible position to be in, isn't it? The law basically expects you to make a perfect, calm, legally correct decision in a split-second life-or-death moment. When you're being attacked, your brain isn't thinking about legal codes, right? It's just in pure survival mode. So for the police, even if they had sympathy for a story, the simple act of an unlicensed person firing a gun is an offense they feel they have to act on.
So with that 6 p.m. deadline breathing down their necks, the police made their decision. The public debate didn't matter anymore. Now, the charges were on paper, the consequences were incredibly severe, and the very real possibility of a long prison sentence was suddenly on the table.
And here they are. You can see both men are charged with wounding with intent, but just look at the list for J.I. Phrase. Shooting with intent, and the big ones, possession of a prohibited weapon and using a prohibited weapon. These are not minor charges. These are serious felonies. A conviction on these could mean years, maybe even decades behind bars. His entire future now rests on this.
So at the end of the day, this whole complicated, messy case really boils down to this one fundamental and incredibly difficult question. In a society where people often feel unsafe, where is that line? Where does self-defense stop and a felony begin? There are no easy answers here,
But for Jay Ferris, the answer that the Jamaican courts eventually come up with is going to determine the entire course of his life.